Ready?
Yeah.
Here you do like all these really great interviews, and someone's gonna probably like all your fans are gonna be so upset that I ask you like completely dumb things, which I think is good. Like I'm sure you've been asked everything under the sun for music.
I don't know. I mean, I don't really pay attention.
Okay. Okay, good. You just take it an interview at a time.
Yeah. I just.
Well, I didn't prepare any music questions. There were more really just Charles as a human being.
Right.
And more life stuff, but we can throw in some music stuff too. Okay, so go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Black Francis. I'm hanging out here with my friend Jen Bertrand here in Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, good job getting it right.
Yeah.
That's very good. Okay, so some of my first, I'm going to start with design questions because obviously that's what I do.
Yeah.
And I wanted to kind of know if you thought that design played a role in your career or life or music. And any of that, like...
Well, as a matter of fact, it was because of graphic design that I quit my last day job that I had at a warehouse at the Windsor Button Factory in Boston, Massachusetts.
Did you make buttons?
No, but they used to deal with buttons years ago. They still deal with buttons. At that time, they dealt with buttons, but... there were other items. So the mall shops. Remember those little porcelain things? The sort of with the little sayings, you know, the nice, kind.
Yeah.
You know, the pictures of little angels and things.
Yeah.
Just mall crap. So
tchotchkes, as we call them in design.
Yes, tchotchkes. Excuse me. But when I was working there, this is about 25 years ago or something like that. I received, I don't know why I received it there at the warehouse, but I did receive it, I think at the warehouse, from the United Kingdom, from London. This record company had sent me a proof of my first record that was going to be coming out, and it was, they kind of spent a lot of their resources with the artwork and the packaging of this particular record label. They're famous for that. I didn't know that at the time. But, and I opened up this brown envelope and there was this sleeve, a vinyl sleeve for a record, and it was very designed. It was over the top. It wasn't just, it was...
like trying too hard?
No, it was fantastic. Fantastic. It was a photograph that had been staged, and this is what the artist, the graphic artist, his name is Von Oliver, and his company was called V23, and he's a very well-known graphic designer from Newcastle, and he at that time he was very into staging really kind of over-the-top photographs and then capturing it. And then he would use that in his layouts. And so this first layout I got was of my first record. I just had this very small, the name of the record, the name of the band, but it was this beautiful photograph that looked like something out of some old Victorian, just sort of haunted picture of this man who was nude, presumably, but you just saw kind of his back. He's a shaved head in his back, and he was sitting on a tapestry or something like that. But he was an incredibly hairy man, and sort of like frighteningly hairy. And so this is the photograph. It's very sort of.
Now I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah, and it's a record called "Come On, Pilgrim," and so anyway, he worked with an English photographer named Simon Labastier, and Simon Labastier used to stage these kind of really beautiful, sometimes very dark photographs. And so, anyway, when I opened this up, I gave my notice. I had no business giving up my job at that time, but I saw what I was getting involved in. You know what I mean? I knew I was going to be doing music, but I was also working with these people that would do this for their record sleeve. I knew that this was like the path. You know what I mean? So I just was like, you got my 2 weeks.
What if you had opened it up and it was like crap?
No, I don't want to go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, but it was inspiring. I mean, it was like so validating.
Isn't that cool? So one moment inspired you to say, I'm quitting.
Oh,
That's
totally,
cool.
Yeah. It was like, okay.
So then now, after following that...
Can I edit in there? You have got an editor. Charles, good seeing you again.
Okay, I'll see you tomorrow night.
Yeah, we're going to see you tomorrow night.
All right.
For sure.
All right, thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for coming. And thanks for that. I can't wait to teach Winston that.
I know,
So
it's
awesome.
He naturally, I'm not kidding, this is not a suck-up thing. He likes music.
Yeah,
like,
he loves music.
I'll show you the app I have for a tuner. It's a strobe tuner, what they call a strobe tuner. And anyway, they're very good tuners, but they have an app. I have one on my phone. I use it all the time. But they're fun. He would really fun. They're fun because I'll show you why. But he'll get a kick out of tuning up his.
That'd be cool. That'd be good.
So
and he loves to dance.
Because he just can't get. My guitar is just.
No, I know. I have the same thing. Jack really wants to play the bass and stuff, and so I finally got him a bass, but it's on a large ukulele body with these silicon strings, but it's tuned down like a bass, but it's only this big. And he can deal with that.
Winston will play in Jack's band. Will you make sure it's still going and that we're both in it before we do a whole interview and it's like half our heads? That'd be awesome.
Nice question, by the way.
Oh, well, he took it and
That's the most candid that man I've ever heard him speak. Seriously, he doesn't open up like that to interviewers.
Watch out, Oprah.
Yeah. Good luck with the leak.
Okay, I love you. Bye.
See you tomorrow.
Okay. So back to the album covers. After doing that and having such an emotional connection to an album cover in one moment, then obviously like choosing your other album covers after that, it's a bit personal. Did you guys always do it as a team, or was it like one person cared more than others?
No, to this day, in fact, we work with the same designer, the same graphic artist, and he passes along materials when he's working on it. To gain our approval and input and everything. We basically just approve everything. We don't really question.
Does he hear the music before he creates it?
Yeah, he usually does. Yeah, but we don't really. Yeah, we let him do whatever he wants to do. We never question it. And
that's like a creative person's dream, though. How often do we ever get that? Like as a designer, not that often.
Well, when people are really good, though, you trust them. You go, oh wow, they're even if I don't love everything that they do, it's so obvious that they have. A commitment to their aesthetic or whatever it is, to whatever that's driving them. Yeah. Obviously, they're driven. They're not just coming up with crap. They're really driven. This is really their baby. So when people are like that, you just kind of go, you just do what you're gonna do.
But did he do your solo stuff, or that group do your solo stuff too, or was that mainly just all Pixies?
That was all Pixies. He did do a couple of my early solo records when I was still signed to that record label. But when the band has started to release music again recently, we hired him again to do all our stuff.
See, that's my goal, is to find someone who goes, Jen's design is all my hotels and everything.
Yeah.
Be like, oh yes, I'll go to Dubai and do it, sure. Okay, so obviously that covered it. Okay, so I don't know if everyone out there knows. I know because I watched your Instagrams, but you are a painter.
Well, thank you.
A little bit of a Renaissance man. Yeah. I mean, my thing is, well, how would you describe your style in painting?
I guess to use something from the modern vernacular, outsider. I guess,
Why would you say that?
Untrained, not any draftsmanship or perspective.
But that could be considered pure rather than,
Sure. I mean, there is a purity to painting, I think, in general, and everybody. I think everybody can paint.
Yeah.
So I don't paint pretty pictures in the sense that there's correct perspective or anything like that. And I don't. I never went to art school or anything. So it's very.
Do you play music while you paint?
I do. Yeah.
What do you play?
Usually like classical guitar music or something like that. You know what I mean? Sometimes something more up tempo, but yeah. I usually get in trouble if I play something too up tempo because there's children.
Are you like 50 people, got 5 kids?
Yeah, well, because I wake people. I do it at night after
yeah.
everyone goes to bed.
Do you have a studio?
I have a little room, and then I actually have a big art space in another building where I have an office, but it was never really used as an art space, but it's becoming an art space now. But I haven't really painted anything there. I've just the paintings have gotten larger, and so I've started to mount stuff over there. And,
Cool.
Yeah, so
What's the largest you've done?
Probably like about as big as this
that's
this
good.
wall here. You know what I mean?
That's good.
That kind of thing, and I usually make my own canvases.
Oh, you stretch your own. That's
No, I make them out of paper and cardboard and stuff.
Cool.
And I make like these quilts, kind of.
Cool.
And I
Your mixed media.
glue the panels together. And when I need something bigger, I just add on another chunk of whatever.
That's a cat.
That's a cat. So,
Luckily, not a child vomiting. Thanks for caring, though, just
sure.
in case.
I'm used to the. What's that sound? Oh, okay, it's a cat.
Which, after this question, I'll go turn off Winston's feeding tube that keeps beeping. But so then, obviously, you work mixed media and you layer it in. Do you think you'll ever go to other mediums? Are you like dabbling in anything else?
Not really. I'm quite happy just with the acrylic paint and
you can pretend you're being eco-friendly and upcycling and be like, I'm using everything.
Well, I did because when I first got into painting heavily, I was in a little village in Wales where I was making a record, and I didn't. I used to just go to the local magazine shop to get just cheap paint, and they had some basic art supplies there, and so that's how I got into making my own canvases. And I had a little apartment that I was living in, and so I would. I'd be up late drinking wine or whatever, and so I would take the wine that I was drinking, or sometimes coffee grounds from the morning, and soak paper with these materials on it, and then I'd put them in my oven so they would dry quickly. Then I'd paint, and then because I wanted to rush the process, and it was just tempera paints. I would bake the paintings until I would work on several at once.
Yeah.
And then bake them so they would dry really fast and crackle. And so I was having a lot of fun experimenting with just whatever materials I had. And then at home, when I got home, I did start to get some canvases, but I missed the messing around with the paper and all that. So I was like, the canvases, it's too...
You could always cut into and like sew onto or glue onto. And
well, that's what I like about the paper. I would not be precious about it. And if I accidentally ripped something, I would just like, well, I ripped it, so I'll just get a big piece of tape and tape it over, and if I could walk on it, I could do whatever I want to it. I don't have to be precious about it. As a matter of fact, a bunch of my paintings got a bunch of water poured on them from the unit above me. It was a restaurant, and but because it was acrylic paint, it didn't hurt the paintings, but I had to dry all the paper out.
Were you like, it looks better?
Yeah, I mean, kind of just sort of whatever process it goes through, I accept it. So I'm not too precious about it.
Which is cool because, so I don't know if you know this, I have a bachelor's of art education. So I was an art teacher before I went into design. And what I always notice is that kids stopped being free and liberated about how they drew at like 5th grade. Mm-hmm. And then they started caring, did it look like what it was supposed to? What did other people think about what they said? And then you see that carry into adults not wanting to color outside of the lines in life and whatnot. So good for you to color outside the lines and get all kooky and crazy on it.
Well, my wife was very encouraging, and also we have lots of children, and so there's always lots of art supplies around. And I guess that's part of how I got into it, was setting up art projects for them, or sitting down with them and doing an art project with them. And then I realized, this is actually very fun. I really like this. And
but don't you think, like a lot of people who maybe think, like all of you out there who may think I can't paint or draw, a glass of wine always helps, or something.
A glass of wine is nice. I'm not trying to encourage the wrong thing to the wrong person, but yes, I do enjoy a glass of red wine while painting frequently, or some coffee. I enjoy the coffee thing, and
I tell people, don't show someone else. Just do it and have fun and not care. Hey, Winston, come here. Let me turn off your beep. And you can come sit with us, too. No. Oh, no. You know what we're talking about? Painting. You sometimes come down. So Winston has an easel right next to my easel. And he'll come down and
You have an
paint.
easel.
Yeah. Do you paint?
No.
Oh, no. Of course not. Here, can you close that up? Good job. Thank you, sir. You doing okay?
Yeah.
He's so good. He's so good. He's doing so well. I mean, like, obviously we still have our adventures, but he's come so far and he's so happy. Like, that's all that matters is that he's happy.
Yeah, of
and
course.
he doesn't know any different.
Right.
Okay, back to silly things. Oh, I wanted to ask you, would you ever have an art show?
Yeah, I've been working towards it, but I feel like I guess what it is, I feel like I haven't painted enough yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm talking to a few people about helping me put together an art show, and some other painters that I know have been very encouraging.
Did you see Bob Dylan's show? He did one in
No,
Berlin.
no.
I think it was Berlin. Yeah.
Yeah, with the gates.
I don't know
Oh,
what
so
he did. I didn't see it. No, I mean, I don't know if it was photographs or mixed medium or what, but it's just interesting to see people who, well, you have to think, what do you want to put out there? And you do a lot of people. Like, is there a reason why you started painting people?
Well, I guess probably because that is a common thing that a lot of people are drawn to is the eye, the nose, the mouth, the face, the breast, the body, the human body. I think people, as soon as you see a representation of the human body, everyone goes, oh, I see their person, I see their eye. You know what I mean? I see their boob. I see their foot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense.
It's all kind of it's instant, I think. So I'm attracted to that, but right now I only paint the same person, and her name was Elena, a Russian woman. Later in life, she was married to Salvador Dali.
Oh, and he always painted her. Wait.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gala.
Okay, yeah.
When she was younger, she was known as Elena, and she was married to a poet named Paul Eluard, a French guy. And when this is like back in the teens, her 20s, she hung out with a lot of the surrealist bunch. She had a long affair with Max Ernst, the German painter.
I know.
And anyway, so I mostly paint her, and to a lesser extent, Paul Eluard, her husband, and her boyfriend, Max Ernst.
Cool.
Because they all lived together
Yeah.
in a little house in outside of Paris for a period of about 3 or 4 years. And so for some reason I've decided to paint her at this time in her life, and so I try to read about her and about her life at that time. She was not very well liked by a lot of the surrealists at that time. She was considered
was she the Yoko Ono?
Kind of. I don't want to say that. That's not the right word, but she was a muse, but she was like a tough cookie kind of muse, and kind of like called the shots, and ended up managing Salvador Dali's career basically. As soon as she met him, she went, okay, so cool. You and I are partners now, and I'll manage everything from here on out. And so she was kind of a
smart lady.
She was a smart lady. She was like, had her eye on what was going on. And anyway, so I have she has a cross eye. She has a lazy eye. I think it's her right eye. And so a lot of photographs I've seen of her, you can just see this little eye of hers just moving over just a little bit, And so for me, that is how I represent her. So as long as I draw her lazy eye, then I know that it's her. Cool. You see what I'm saying? So even if it doesn't look like her, I know that it's her. And that's Elena.
That's cool. That's so random that you've identified with those 3 people and their journey and whatnot. Do your color palettes change? Based on the time period?
No, I just mess around. I try to, the guy, I joined this art group called the Stuckists. They're an English group of people, and the guy who started actually was a guy named Charles Thompson, without the P. And so he has given me some advice occasionally on color mixing and that kind of thing. And so, I just, I try to when I go down to Michael's or wherever to buy my art supplies,
That's so awesome.
I just buy, blue, yellow, red, white, black.
Yeah, and mix your own colors.
Yeah, so I'm trying not to paint out of the tube, and I'm trying to learn to have a feel for it anyway. And sometimes sometimes I follow a particular, do little experiments, whatever. But mostly I just do it by
Then
feel.
you'll start trying to add the paste that make them thicker or do all
I do
this.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm into that because that's all I got going for me really is color and texture. And you know, I mostly scrape, you know, with a palette, with a you know, with like a palette knife kind of thing, or you know, with a spackler. You know.
Oh, okay, cool.
I like the spacklers. And big seems to work for me because as soon as I get
It's movement.
yeah exactly. If
I can't do little.
If I do little, then the labor of that it starts to show the energy.
Don't you think it's also too refined and too specific? I like the freedom of big. I'm not held to anything.
Yes. Yeah, it's very. I mean, I think that. I mean, I was just reading the other day on Twitter or somewhere like that the earliest known paintings are 40,000 years old.
Oh, cool.
So
is that the Lascaux cave paintings?
I don't know which one it was, but you know, people have been painting a long time, so it's natural to get up in your cave in the morning and put some pigment on the wall. So I think that people should paint, and this is the feeling of the Stuckists.
Yeah.
The pigment is primal, painting is primal, and that all people are painters, and that you just have to do it.
Yeah.
So now I just do it, and I don't worry about whether it's good or not. And well, I do worry if it's good or not, I suppose. But
we'll know when you're happy when you have your first show.
Yeah. I'm trying to. I mean, I've probably done about 100 paintings or so. So that's that's the equivalent of like writing the first verse and chorus to a song. You know, for a songwriter. You know, what I mean, it's kind of like, okay, I've been away for a year now, everybody. I've written my song. I've written a song. Gather around. I'm ready to go on tour, world tour now. I wrote a song. Did you ever heard about it? I wrote a song.
I wrote one blog.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Done.
So, you know, when you people that are painting every day that wake up and just start painting, I mean, you look at all the, you know, how many studies go into their paintings and all the drawing, all the painting, and I mean, it's just piles and piles.
But I think, like anyone watching, you don't have to do it every day to still want to do it occasionally.
Right.
I think everyone gets stuck in the cycle that sometimes you have to forget to challenge yourself outside of the cycle.
Yeah.
But I think it would freak a lot of people out who go, oh, I'm a left brainer, I can't do right brain creative things. And I think the thing is doing it and not feeling like you have to show a single person. You do it for yourself, and that is it, and good to go. And it's entertaining. But I'm like you.
It's good for you too.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I think
but
it's
then
good
again,
for
so
you.
is yoga, and like, you know, we all don't eat